Hey, thanks for watching Living in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Let's say you're moving to Raleigh, but you're not really a city dweller. You want to know about towns that are on the outskirts or even further out. So that's what we're doing today. We're talking about towns like Garner, Apex, Morrisville, Wake Forest, Clayton, Hillsborough, Pittsburgh, lots of places like that in the Triangle. And so you have lots and lots and lots of choices that will probably satisfy you if you don't want to live in one of the cities. Now, we're not talking about the towns like Durham, Chapel Hill, Cary, the sort of the larger suburbs. Don't tell people in Durham that I called them a suburb of Raleigh, but we're not talking about those towns. We're talking about sort of smaller places today. If you've watched the video before, you know I'm from rural western Pennsylvania, steel country, mills shutting down, pierogies every Friday, Steelers Sundays, winters that make your face hurt. Moved here in the 1990s when Raleigh was smaller, and these outer towns that we're talking about today were mostly fields and two-lane roads with a stoplight or two. Now it's 2026, and places like Garner, Apex, Morrisville, Wake Forest, Clayton, Hillsborough, and Pittsburgh further out are where everybody's landing. Growth is absolutely insane. New houses are popping up like weeds after rain. If you're eyeing suburbs or these smaller towns for more space and less chaos, this is for you. If I'm somebody who's still figuring out why there are so many roundabouts here. Why should you consider living in these towns? Well, it gives you all of the Triangle perks. The job market in RTP, Research Triangle Park, access to downtown Raleigh, downtown Durham, Chapel Hill, without downtown prices or traffic insanity. Raleigh's metro area is now over 2 million, and these towns are soaking up the overflow. The fastest growers are Apex, Clayton, Pittsburgh, with a Chatham Park and Disney buzz. Disney's building a neighborhood. I don't know if they're going to have like a Space Mountain or like an It's the Small World song will be playing all the time. I don't know what it means that Disney's building a neighborhood, but it's happening.
It's a small world after all.
Now I've got that song in your head. These towns, obviously bigger lots, good schools in many, parks, breweries, and there are a lot of, I don't know if there's just a trend all over the country, but there are a lot of small town breweries now. Commutes are still reasonable, 15 minutes to maybe 45 minutes in Hillsborough and Pittsburgh to Raleigh and RTP and Chapel Hill, depending on your spot. The drawback is, of course, you're driving more, so embrace audiobooks and podcasts. Not ones that are bad for you, but ones that are actually informative. There's no snow to shovel, though. Almost no snow. But when there is snow to shovel, you don't go anywhere anyway. That alone, though, that fact alone sold me in 1994 when we moved here that this was the place for me. Let's talk money. Let's talk cost of living and sort of the general food scene. Back in the 90s, these places were cheap. 15, 20 years ago, you could buy a house for $100,000 to $150,000. 2026, however, Garner, which is one of the closer in of these towns, $390,000 to $415,000. Wake Forest has sort of already arrived. And by the way, I don't want to confuse you. Wake Forest is not where Wake Forest University is. That they moved long ago. But Wake Forest, the town, very nice. It's $500,000 to $560,000. You can buy a home there. And Morrisville. Now, Morrisville is very proximate to the center of things. It's really I believe the airport is in Morrisville. So $500,000 to $550,000, very, very close to RTP and RDU Airport. Apex, very similar, has a little bit more history to it. $600,000 to $625,000. The schools cause that premium. Schools have good reputation in Apex. Hillsborough, northwest of Raleigh, actually northwest of Durham, around $450,000 to $490,000 median. It's been up about 8 to 12% lately. Very, very competitive to live in Hillsborough. Lots of Northerners, lots of New Yorkers for some reason moving to Hillsborough and living alongside the farmers and sort of old school Southerners. And further south, Pittsboro in Chatham County, 520,000 to 540,000. Now there's a lot of new stuff there, and just a lot of higher end stuff. In a place called Chatham Park is actually now the highest average price point for homes in the entire triangle. So I find that to be fascinating. I think it's primarily because almost everything is new. Cost of living in all these places as well is below the national average. Utilities are cheaper than most places. Groceries are normal. Housing prices are below the national average. Really a steal compared to many places in the country. Now again, like much of the triangle, food is the surprise. These towns went from just McDonald's and every other chain you can think of to real gems, barbecue, diners, international food. I'll cover the best spots per town later. Nothing beats choosing a home based on what restaurants are close to the home. So, all right, we'll start with Garner. Garner is south of Raleigh, 10 to 20 minutes to downtown. It's probably the closest of these towns to downtown Raleigh. It feels like just an extension of Raleigh, sort of a Raleigh sprawl. 1970s and 90s homes and lots of new homes and very, very fast growth. Prices between $490 and $415. The vibe is affordable, families, parks, highways. The commute is about 20 minutes to Raleigh. Food, Angie's for home cooking, Alexander's Mediterranean, Garibaldi Trattoria, Carolina Barbecue. All of this is comfort food without the fuss. All right, next Clayton, southeast of Raleigh. Johnson County, different county, 25 or maybe 40 minutes to Raleigh, depending on where exactly you're going. Small town charm. It's one of the fastest growing town in the triangle, I think. New builds everywhere from 350 to 400,000. So it's a really solid, inexpensive option for living in the triangle. The vibe is relaxed, farmers markets and community. And still, only 25 to 40 minutes to Raleigh. The food, you'll have local barbecue, diners, some emerging Italian and Mediterranean food, affordable and hearty. Now, Apex. The peak of good living is in Apex. A historic downtown. I think it's adorable. I think it's very, very nice. Lots of trails, top schools, a real boom town. Prices $600,000 to $625,000 approximately for a single family home. The vibe is safe with lots of events and again, more breweries. The commute is an easy 25 minutes to RTP at least. Morrisville, very close to RTP, very close to the airport. It's driven by tech. It's a hub with a lot of young professionals and really everything is new. Lots and lots and lots of townhouses. Prices are $500,000, $550,000. The food is diverse. Lots of Indian restaurants, Asian fusion, and casual spots near RTP. It's really global flavors. Now we're going to go north to Wake Forest. It has a historic downtown. Wake Forest University used to be in downtown Wake Forest. Now it's not. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're going to Wake Forest University, you cannot live in Wake Forest, North Carolina, which might seem very strange, but it's true. There are lots of new communities around. In the middle of it, there's Southern Baptist Seminary and an adorable downtown. So, charming Main Street, good parks, good schools. Again, commute is about 25 minutes to Raleigh. Lots of casual restaurants, kind of a casual town. Lots of breweries and a very walkable downtown. All right, Hillsboro. This is a little bit of a distance from Raleigh. It's in Orange County. It's northwest of Raleigh and Durham. Lots of people who live here work in RTP, work in Durham, work in Chapel Hill. You probably would not live in Hillsboro if you worked in downtown Raleigh. You could live in Hillsboro and work in Research Triangle Park, no problem at all. It is a historic gem. For a very, very brief time, it was the capital of North Carolina before Raleigh. The story goes that there were too many loyalists, too many British loyalists in the 18th century in Hillsboro for them to have the capital there because it kept getting attacked or something. So they moved it to Raleigh. Hillsboro has a lot of old downtown charm, lots of, walkable restaurants, a very quiet feel, lots of farmland around it. But it's growing and growing fast. Prices are really going up. There's a mix of historic. Now, when I say historic, I mean historic. I mean, it's what we call in this country historic. 19th century, 1800s to 1900s historic homes, especially the closer you get to downtown Hillsboro, the more likely you are to be in a very, very old home. But outskirts, of course, are much, much newer. Lots of 80s, 90s, and 21st century suburbs around Hillsborough. Prices are going up. Still probably only between $450, $490 you can get median single-family home, but that is up 8 to 12% in a very, very short amount of time. The vibe is very small town, historic. Farmers. There's a farmer's market every Saturday that, of course, there's bluegrass played in the farmer's market all the time. RTP is reasonably close. Chapel Hill is very close. So if you're working at UNC or UNC hospitals or Duke hospitals or anywhere in Durham, you're going to be just fine. Some really great food in Hillsborough. Saratoga Grill, just American favorites. Antonia's for Italian. Hillsborough Barbecue Company for shockingly good barbecue. The Nomad is a quirky place. And there's a new restaurant that I'm anxious to try. I haven't been there yet, Saratore's Pasta and Pizza. It's owned and managed and run by the same people who run one of my favorite restaurants in Durham, Mother and Sons. So I'm looking forward to trying that one out. Pittsboro, southwest of Raleigh in Chatham County, 30 to 45 minutes away from Raleigh. 20 to 30 minutes to Chapel Hill, a little bit further to Durham. Small town with a lot of buzz. New developments like Chatham Park and the Disney project are really driving growth. Historic downtown with lots and lots of rural edges. It's a place where Jordan Lake is nearby. It's a very, very large lake. So there's lots of recreation, lots of fishing. You can't drive very far around Pittsboro without running into a gas station that sells donuts and bait in case you need it. Home prices are $520 to $540, which is a significant uptick, even higher for luxury and new properties. The vibe is very relaxed, though, very natural. Commute is pretty substantial to Raleigh, probably 30 to 45 minutes minimum. Of course, much, much closer to RTP and Chapel Hill. All right, food in Pittsboro, better than you'll expect. Actually, much better. Verley's Grill for diner classics. Small B&B Cafe, which is Cafe Gems. I am a big fan of S&T Soda Shop, which has just great burgers and fries and hot dogs, and as the name would suggest, lots and lots of different kinds of sodas, just very old-fashioned and really perfect. And then there's the Farrington House, which at one point I think was the only Michelin 3-star. I can't remember what it was, but the whatever the designation was, it was the only one in North Carolina that had it in the Farrington House. So it's very upscale and very fancy. There's really a mix of a lot of different styles of food and lots of different lots of quality in Pittsboro. So notes, all of these towns are growing fast. New homes everywhere, new schools everywhere. Schools are being built all the time. The further you go out, of course, the quieter it is, the more nature, the longer drives. But hey, we got the internet, so we can work from anywhere right now. So you can get more for your money in those places. And sometimes that's worth it. So some tips. 2026 is a more balanced market from a housing standpoint. So, you should negotiate or try to negotiate. The schools, if the schools are of value to you, the schools are strong in Apex, Wake Forest, and Orange County, Hillsborough. But you'll want to check those zones and check the ratings from whatever school site you like to use. If you're budget conscious, Clayton and Garner is your place. If you have a tech job or want a tech job, Morrisville and Apex is your place. If you want nature and quiet, maybe Hillsborough and Pittsboro. Now, as far as food goes, as we've spoken about, these towns punch way above their weight. Angie's Comfort and Garner, Downtown Apex Variety, Morrisville's Global, Saratoga and Nomad in Hillsborough, and Verley's and Farrington and Pittsboro. I mean, these are not normal small towns as far as food goes. Always, wherever you wind up, try local barbecue. So in short, these Raleigh suburbs, more space, lots of growth, good schools, and food that'll ruin you for chain forever. And remember, when I moved here, all they had was McDonald's. These places are changing fast. So you might want to get in fast before prices climb even more. I left Pennsylvania decades ago for this, and no regrets. If these towns feel right to you, pick one. Or if you want city, pick Raleigh or Durham or Chapel Hill or Cary. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to talk more about these towns or are contemplating moving here, go ahead and click on the QR code above to get immediately to my calendar to set up a conversation time with me, a video chat, let's say. and I look forward to it. Welcome to Raleigh, or welcome to small town Raleigh. Thanks so much for watching.